Hey guys, welcome to another one of my videos. In this video, I am going to demonstrate and talk about a specific exercise that you can do whenever you find yourself in a challenging situation with another person. Maybe you're afraid of this person, maybe you feel intimidated by them in some way, you put them on a pedestal, or perhaps the other way, maybe you put yourself on a pedestal and you devalue the other person. In any case, if you feel there's some type of a charge between you and someone else, this is the way to move those projections and free yourself and understand what's really going on. So let's get into it.
Welcome to the Spiritual Psychology Channel. Release what is holding you back in your life. Explore the dynamics of masculinity and femininity in relationships. Learn how to release self-limiting emotions and beliefs. Join the journey to become your true self in harmony with love.
So imagine yourself going out on a date and you may feel really nervous and you're stumbling over yourself. You're trying to please the other person. Maybe you feel you're not good enough for them. Maybe you feel like every single thing you're doing that you're just making a fool out of yourself. After this date, you go home and the thoughts are racing. You just feel that you just totally messed up. This person must think you're an idiot. Maybe you have a judgment about your life not being in order versus this person's life is so great, they wouldn't want to be with me, and so on and so forth. Like, most of us have experienced that at one point of our life. Yet sometimes these experiences can be so intense that you can lose sleep over it. Your self-worth and confidence starts to be affected. Your life starts to feel very disorganized, and you essentially either try to not have that person in your life anymore because it's just bringing up too much stress, or you numb yourself to your emotions, or there's all these different ways that we can go about it. But ultimately, the intensity of our experience with this person is so great that it's pretty much unbearable. So what do? Well, I'm going to invite you to try an exercise with me. This is a process in which you can free yourself from these energies. And the reason I say energies is because emotions are energies, thought patterns are energies, beliefs are energies. Everything is a frequency that has a specific flavor to it. And if you're experiencing something inside that feels uncomfortable emotionally, all that means is that there's a energy inside of yourself that is trapped. Maybe it's an experience that you went through, maybe it's something that you absorbed from someone else. Things like shame or fear. We can actually take responsibility for other people's emotions and feelings and perceive them as being our own. So these energies are trapped inside of us, and imagine it being like a bird who's trying to escape, but it's inside of a building. So the bird is flailing away, hitting against walls, trying to find an open window. Our job, essentially, is to open the window and let the draft bring this feeling, this energy, to move it through us so it's released. And this is how I want to invite you to try to do it. So let's say you've identified a relationship in which you have a charge, some sort of an ungrounded experience or an intense experience. You may start to recognize that you are creating a dialogue for the other person. Let's say from the example of a date. They think that I'm such an idiot, or they think that I'm just not good enough for them, or they are probably just laughing at me and thinking that I am this weakling and I'm ugly and I'm all of these things. So you start to notice how this internal talk, this negative self-talk, just creates this scenario of this person feeling a certain way about you. Well, this doesn't come just from anywhere. So here's what I suggest you do. Similar to the exercise that I did with you guys, that's called couples therapy with life, where on one side it was life, on the other side it was you. In this scenario, we're going to do something similar, but in this case, you are actually going to sit in the place of the person that you have this charge with. So for example, imagine that you're interacting with a person, and during this interaction you notice you want something from them. Maybe after the interaction you notice feeling like you didn't do good enough, or you didn't say the right things, or somehow you didn't prove yourself to this person, right? So what you do is pick a side to represent this person that you have some sort of a emotional experience with. So in this case, I'm going to present this person on this side. Let's say a woman. Let's say I had a text interaction with a woman. I'm gonna imagine that she's sitting on this side and that I am sitting on this side. And so I can take an item to represent myself. So I'll use this box. I'll put it in front of me. And let's say during this interaction, when I was talking to her, I felt that she judged me. So I'm gonna sit in the space of her, and I'm just gonna let myself feel naturally what are the words, what are the feelings that are coming out, what I perceive her experience of me was. So I'm looking at the box and I am feeling, wow, you're a weirdo. I don't know you. I'm a little excited, but also scared of you. And I think that you're too needy and strange and weird. And like, I don't know what to make of you. I'm a little scared of you. I think I'm better than you. I want to control. I want to make sure that I have more power over you. So I'm in a bit of a power game with you. Yeah, I'm better than you. I think I'm better than you. I think I'm smarter than you. I think I'm better looking than you. I think that I have better morals than you. You don't have good morals. And you don't have a lot of value either. Right? So, and in fact, I've never even seen this person. All right? This is just someone that I had a exchange, a message. But these are all the projections that I put onto her. And based on those little short interactions, this is what the stories that I told myself about how she's feeling about me. So as I'm doing that, I'm noticing my body feels lighter, I feel more freer, I feel more relaxed. And I'm also recognizing how these are some of the ways that I feel about myself. These are some of the things that I perceive about myself. That I place women on pedestals and I put myself below them. So what's going to happen if I go on this side now and I'm going to let myself experience it from the position of me with her. I'm going to sit down on this side and I'm going to use another item to represent this woman. So I use a little bag there. And I'm just going to let myself receive the things that I just heard her say. So she said that she's better than me, that I'm weird, that she's a little scared of me, she's better looking than me. And so I'm just allowing myself to feel the sadness. What's coming up for me is this sadness about how much it means to me to have somebody see me a specific way. And I'm really letting myself soften into the space of feeling how familiar this is. And I'm getting memories from different relationships, different interactions that I had. And I just keep going back further back to the earliest point when I felt that I wasn't good enough. And what comes to me was an attraction I had to a young girl when I was in second grade. And I remember giving her love notes and she just kept rejecting me. And the belief that came to me from that experience is that I wasn't good enough. And when I go even earlier, I'm sure there's other experiences that I have. But ultimately, I'm just letting myself feel this interaction that somebody on that side has this much power about how I feel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell her everything that I want from her. And this is what it is. I want you to love me unconditionally. I want you to be obsessed with me. I want you to find me attractive. I want you to see me as a man. I want you to be feminine with me. I want you to like me. I want you to care about me. I want you to see me in a good light. I want you to find pleasure in my company. I want you to enjoy me. I want you to appreciate me. I want you to respect me. I want you to care for me. I want you to appreciate. Right? So now the more that I'm saying it, as you can probably tell, I'm softening these things that I want, but they're also connected to my needs. So I'm looking earlier in my life now, and I'm noticing these are the needs that weren't really met. Of just being unconditionally loved, appreciated, seen my masculine respected and appreciated and loved, and the care. And ultimately, what I'm starting to see is that these are the things that I wanted from my mother. These are the things that I felt like I had to earn from her. And I'm also recognizing that the feeling that I'm projecting onto her is the feelings of entitlement or superiority that I experienced from my mother, being objectified in a way. So now what I can do is, actually, I can imagine this little child inside of myself who felt objectified, who felt uncared for, who felt disrespected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this box and I'm going to place it behind me. And I'm going to sit in my adult self, and I'm going to look from the adult self at this woman who represents my mother. And I'm going to tell her, I'm going to set some boundaries because that's what's needed. So you look at what is needed. And in this case, I feel there's some boundaries that need to be set. My boundaries here is that I am not going to be an object for your amusement. Either we have a real relationship where both of us are equal, or I am not willing to be in this relationship with you. Good. So that feels good because that came from the man, not the boy. So now I'm going to shift gears and I'm going to sit in a place of her, and I'm going to look back and I'm going to hear that boundary. And what I said to her was that I'm not willing to be an object for her. The only way we're going to have this relationship is if we're going to be equals. And I'm going to let myself receive it. And what I'm feeling is that I'm not ready for that type of relationship because I still want to play games. And this feels very scary and too intense for me. So I say that I'm not ready. I'm not ready to step into this kind of relationship with you. I'm scared of it, in fact. I'm scared of it. I'm scared how real you are. I'm scared of the requirements for me to be just as real as you, that I am not ready for you. So now what I'm seeing here is I'm actually taking accountability on this side. I'm actually feeling like I can no longer play games with him. I can no longer mess with him or make him feel bad about himself, because he's actually reflecting a mirror to me that he's not willing to play these games with me anymore. And now I have to take responsibility, and that responsibility scares me. And so what I want to do is I want to leave. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to actually embody the leaving. So I'm going to stand up, I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to feel what it feels like to leave. So I just left. The feeling that I got from that was a huge relief. All of a sudden, this game that we're playing between me and this feminine energy that keeps showing up in my life in this way. And now what I just experienced was that this energy is leaving my life. And on this side, I'm just going to let myself watch it. I'm going to imagine myself seeing that energy leave my life. And I am actually feeling relief. Now what I'm feeling is that there's room for a different energy to come in, a different woman, a different feminine energy to come in and sit in front of me in this dance between the masculine and the feminine. Because what I'm also recognizing is that up until this point, my inner child, the little boy who experienced his first relationship with the feminine, with my mother, my little inner child felt objectified, where he felt that he had to earn her love, that he had to play by her rules, and the rules kept changing. And there was this feeling of powerlessness, this feeling that he's never going to be a man enough, he's never going to be strong enough, he's never going to win the game of her approval. And so this is the space that I've lived personally in a very long time. And now, based on my life experiences, recent life experiences, and also based on this exercise that I just in front of you, now I'm recognizing that I'm ready to let this energy go. And I'm ready to grow up and let my inner child, the little boy who was stuck in a dynamic and what kept attracting women into my life that were operating on that frequency, the frequency of not being able to take responsibility and show up to the degree that I was willing to show up. And now what I'm feeling is this open space of unknown possibilities. That's what I'm experiencing right now. So then what I can do is I can turn towards my inner child, right? So I've got the box in front of me, and I can actually face him, and I can actually feel my feelings towards him, and really seeing what is it that he needs to hear from my adult self. And what I'm feeling here is that I see you, I respect you, you are enough, I am so grateful for you to be in my life. I see your beauty, I see your greatness, I see your love. I don't expect you to be perfect. I can see the goodness that's inside of you. And I'm going to show up for you. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to respect you. And I will not play games with your heart. So as I say that, like my heart relaxes. I can feel that my energy starts to ground more. And then finally what I can do is I can basically sit in the place of the inner child and if there is a need for that, and see if there's anything the inner child needs from me. So I can take the box, I can place it in front of me, I can look at the inner child, and I can really see if there's anything else that the inner child needs from me. So now that I had this conversation with the inner child, I'm really curious to see if there's anything else that the inner child wants to share with me. So I'm gonna use this hat to represent my adult self. I'm gonna turn around and be on my child self. I'm gonna feel as if I'm the child and I'm talking to the adult. And I'm really gonna receive the messages that adult just told me. That he's gonna respect me, see me, protect me, not play games with my heart. What I'm feeling is I'm feeling some sadness coming on because these are the things that I really want. And what I'm asking my adult self from this place is never to involve me with the type of women that would play games with my heart, to protect me from that energy. And so then finally I turn around again and then I reaffirm that. I just look back and I look back at the inner child and I say, if I truly feel that, I promise you that I will not put you in situations with women who play games with your heart, because I love you. And then finally I'm going to turn around one more time, let myself, the inner child, receive that I will not put you in positions with women that would play with your heart. I would check if I believe that, and if I do, the process is over. We can thank one another, and that concludes the experience. So this experience is quite organic. It's different for every situation, as you saw when I was the exercise with couples therapy with life. You guys can check out that video. But every single experience is different. So as you can see, that experience is very organic. You don't really know where it's going to go, how it's going to show up, what it's going to bring up in you. If you've seen my other video on couples therapy with life, you'll recognize that experience was different than this one. But the fundamentals are the same. You pretty much place whatever it is in front of you that you have a charge with, something that is unsettled or something that doesn't feel is at peace. And once you place that, whatever that is, on one side, and you place yourself on the other side, and you start to have a dialogue between each other and allowing the feelings and the emotions, it's quite organic and you never know what's going to show up. The most important thing is the fundamentals, and that is to split whatever it is that you're working on into two sections. So in this case, it was someone that I had a charge with, right? Someone who somehow affected my well-being or created stories in my head about how they're feeling about me or who I am, because those are the clues from our past that are being mirrored by this person who's in our life. And so as I separated us into these two sides and I started this dialogue where I sat in the place of this person and I allowed myself to project these feelings that I'm feeling onto them, meaning that whatever I believe they're feeling about me, I'm letting myself express that. And I'm moving that energy. So that bird that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the bird that just wants to fly free. When you allow yourself to feel these emotions in the expression of this other person, you're allowing these energies, these emotions to move through you, because all of them are essentially inside of you. And as you're allowing the consciousness to flow, you're opening this window and you're allowing the emotions to be expressed. And as they get expressed, they show you what this is about and they leave you. So in this example, this woman represented someone from my past, some relationships from my past, but ultimately it came down to the relationship with my mother. And as I went back and forth, I reclaimed my own power and I allowed this energy to exit my life, because I found the strength inside of myself that says that if you're going to be in my life, you're going to have to take accountability and you're going to have to show up the same way that I'm showing up with you. And so the more you heal in yourself, the less you're going to perpetuate those same behaviors to other people. So in this example, where I felt like she wasn't showing up in my life, in other areas of my life, I'm actually not showing up with certain women in my life. So as I'm healing one aspect of my relational health, I'm also healing the other side of relational health. So as I'm expecting the woman to show up and I'm not going to settle for anything less, I'm also grounding in myself showing up with women, meaning that I also take accountability and noticing if I am not exercising the very thing that I expect from women in my life. See? And this is what grounds the whole experience and creates a potential for change. It's really important to always go back to the beginning, talk to the inner child, ask for what the needs are, reaffirm those needs, validate those feelings, and give the inner child exactly what they're looking for. And then once you do that, now you're at harmony and in peace with yourself. Because when you can give yourself something that you're looking for from the external world will start reflecting that back at yourself. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please write them down below in the comment section. If you like this video, push that thumbs up button. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. If there's other topics that you want me to address or show a different exercise, how to work through some of those feelings, please let me know, and I will see you in my next video.